Good evening and welcome to Telltale Books videos. I'm continuing my James Tiptree Jr. series again. I know I just did Your Haploid Heart not too long ago. I wanted to get on to this one right away, mostly because of how good Your Haploid Heart was. I wanted to read the next one by Tiptree. And this is number 9 on my list of the order of publication of James Tiptree Jr.'s works. The story is titled The Snows Are Melted, the Snows Are Gone. This story was published in November of 1969 in Venture Science Fiction magazine, which was an attempt by the magazine of fantasy and science fiction to start a separate, specifically science fiction magazine. And they first tried in the late 1950s. It only lasted a couple of years, and then they tried again in the late 60s. And it didn't last very long, but they tried, and they published some good stories. So this was in Venture for November of 1969, and it's only a short story this time, not a novelette or anything longer. And I love the title. Tiptree has such great titles. The Snows Are Melted, the Snows Are Gone. Great title. But the story, well, what I can tell you isn't much. Basic synopsis, just what I've put on my website. A girl and a wolf bait a man to chase her, where he is captured by her people. That doesn't tell you much. It was a strange story. I think it's set in the future. It's a future where people are malformed. So some kind of genetic thing went on, or maybe a radiation thing went on. We don't know. There's so much. And this is the weakness of this story. This really brought this story down for me, is that there's so much that just isn't said and isn't shown of what's going on with this world. It's interesting. I'm interested. I'd like to know more, but you just don't get it. You aren't given anymore. You know, you aren't really sure why they want to capture this guy. And you aren't sure what happened to cause this world to come to be. You aren't really even sure that you're still on Earth, though it seems like you are. So then since you don't know if you're on Earth or not, you really don't know if you're in the future or not. it's just so unspecific. It needs more. It needed to be a longer story with some more detail of what the heck is going on here. It was very imaginative, and I liked the characters. I thought they were interesting, but no. And I do have this in the paperback collection, 10,000 Light Years from Home, which was published by Ace Books in 1973. I do have that. Where I read it is a brand new collection from Subterranean Press, which I have, but it's buried. I get too many books. I don't remember where I put it. So I do have this. I will put an image on screen of this book. It's called The Voice That Murmurs in the Darkness. It's a hardcover. It was just released this year. I got my copy just in September by Subterranean Press. And it is an excellent collection, even though I didn't really care for this particular story. And that's kind of how I have to wrap this up, is that the only people I would suggest bother reading this story are the Tiptree completists. You know, or if one of you wants to try and see if you can get more out of this story than I did, be my guest, leave comments, tell me what you get out of it, because it kind of, I don't know what's going on in this story. So for that reason, I can't really recommend it to much of anybody. Just like I said, the Tiptree completist, you'll need to read this to complete your Tiptree read. beyond that, I just don't, I really do feel it's a very weak story. I guess everybody's got to have their off days. And I'll leave that with that. Moving on from here, what's going to come next is Happiness is a Warm Spaceship, which was actually published the same month, November of 1969. This was published in If magazine, and I have it in Meet Me at Infinity, a collection that was published in 2000 by Tor Books and is still available. Nice copies are still easily available used if you search the internet for it. So I will report on that one next. And until then, leave comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Come on back for more Tiptree and Ellison and Ballard and Heinlein and Poe and Lovecraft and all the rest of them that I'm working on. I'll be here cranking out videos and doing lots of reading.